good. So they can hear everything we say. So just go ahead and just know that they can hear everything we're saying right now, and that's what we're going to.
So say all your bank pins right now.
That's going to feedback right there.
That's fine.
Beautiful. That's good. 2:30.
Aaron Mansfield is watching. What's up, Aaron? Larry's in. Julie is in. We're going to go to newbies. We're going to the member portal. We're going to Not Gentlemanly. We're going to Cigar Lovers Club. We're going to Illusione. We're going to Omaha. Midwest Leaf Association. Friends Who Like Cigars.
Those are good friends to have.
I guess. I don't want to send it to Famous Smoke Shop. They might get ideas. International Cigars.
Yeah, our old crew.
Cigar Advisor Group. Those guys are happening. Speakeasy Room. The Dogs of ICC. That's for all the dog smokers that we have.
Really?
Dun, 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 dun. Crux Crusaders.
Oh, I have a child's bladder.
That was so fast.
Yeah, I have a child's bladder. 114.
He has a diaper.
Like you went out and just pissed on the wall.
Yeah. No. I'm efficient. I'll just say it that way. Who's in right now? Who do we got? We got Chris Coulter in. Who else we got? Larry Adams. We've got Sam coming in. He's smoking a Definition Equalizer Maduro.
I'm smoking a Definition tonight.
We actually have the owner of Definition in the lounge right now.
He is. Right
yeah,
now.
Did you see him?
I thought I saw him come in.
Yeah. Jamon is in.
I mean, that
It's
thing
so
he did with
cool.
Tales of the Lounge, it got hammered.
Did you watch that?
Oh yeah, I watched it. I was laughing so hard.
That was a nightmare.
I was like,
Those guys were trash.
Preston doesn't normally watch that stuff, and I ran outside to our cigar room and told him, "You got to turn this on. It's so funny." And he started like commenting on it. It was hilarious.
I mean, I've seen drunk, but I've never seen that drunk
it
before.
was so funny.
I call
Was it
Brandon the
an
next
hour?
day. I
He went through
go.
a bottle and
I go watch the first 5 minutes and then watch the last 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
It's two different shows.
It went through the first one, and then what bourbon did they switch? It was a higher proof bourbon.
Oh,
they switched to.
it's just all
Then
the
I was like,
bourbons.
oh, it's gonna get bad now.
7. You ready?
Oh yeah.
You get nervous?
Oh yeah. I'm shaking in my boots.
2, 1, bam.
Boom.
We're
Just
in.
like that. We are live.
What's up?
We're alive
What's
and
up? Bam.
Boom. Just like that. That's how we get started.
On schedule, on time, running, rock and rolling.
Do we start at 8:30 now?
Yeah, we're 4 minutes early because we're starting at 8:30 now.
Early.
Actually, Meg, she thought it was
8:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
Oh, so then we're gonna go ahead with that.
4 minutes early.
Yeah.
So this is our Tuesday Cigar Talk Live. It's our time to sit, smoke a cigar with you, pull an unwitting person out of the lounge, and bring him in. And welcome to our world and our dream. And tonight we have Magnolia.
Yes.
Magnolia's in, and are you a certified wine sommelier?
I'm first level. And then I said, screw the test. I don't want to take anymore.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
So everyone that goes in here is, everyone who's coming in, go ahead, just hit that share button with us. And this is going to be one damn good show, I can tell you
It's
that
gonna be a
right
great
now.
show. And I think the cool thing about Maggie is you met us how?
How did we meet? That's
I think,
a good
weren't
point.
you watching our Saturday at the shop?
I don't remember how we first came to ICC. Probably just looking for cigar shops. I'll tell you why we came back, though. I remember we came here, like always. Brandon gave us a tour.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave a tour from our employee that came in, Pat. We got cigars, and he turns to Pat and goes, "Hey, you mind if I give you a tour of the place, Pat?" And he goes, "Sure." And then Nathan came out and said, "Where's Brandon?" I said, "Oh, he's doing a tour." He goes, "Oh, well, he's gone then. He's gone for a while."
Yeah.
Amen. Yes, that is...
We came in, and it was before COVID hit, or before it really got nasty, at the beginning of it. And we came in months later, walked in the door,
Yep.
and you said, "Hey, Preston Magnolia, how are you doing?" And Preston was shook. He said, How do you know my name? He goes, "Well, you guys came in before, welcome back, haven't seen you.
I'm going to be honest, that was blind luck.
And we both looked at
absolutely
each other
blind.
and looked at you and said, we live in Nashville. And you go,
So
well, that would be why.
And that's the key. You're from Nashville. You're in town every once in a while.
Yep.
And you just make ICC home.
About every 4 to 6 weeks we come back.
And we
definitely come to ICC.
We love having you. And what we really appreciate is when we go back to Omaha, we have our rhythm. We have to hit this and this and this. And you have a rhythm so tight that I already know it. You go to Hutchins, you land, you go to Hutchins.
We do.
And then you come here afterwards.
Yep.
That's the rhythm.
That's,
and it's
I
an
guess
honor
people
to
have
be
caught
there.
on to it because when we came here, Chris was here. He was like, I knew y'all, I was waiting for you to come here because I saw you were at Hutchins.
Yeah.
So it's no secret.
Hutchins is amazing barbecue, and there's some people on here like Larry Adams and Julie that came in from Missouri. They drove in here. We sent them to Hutchins, and their brains exploded.
Texas Twinkies. Oh, have you been there recently? They added an item.
What?
Saturday only. Frito pie sausage. Sounds weird.
Frito
it's delicious.
pie
I'd get
One
down.
of their cooks or something was like concocting it and like made it happen. And they said right now they're only selling it on Saturdays. And we happened to be there on a Saturday and I got it.
Is it like chilies and Frito? Is it chili and
There's a
Fritos?
lot of cheese in it.
Cheese and sausage?
It's all up in there.
In the sausage?
It's in there.
Oh, it's in the sausage?
Yeah, it's the sausage. The sausage is a Frito pie sausage.
Oh, that sounds...
And the flavors were like...
So,
up.
I know
mean,
Marty
so good.
Upton is watching right now. Go ahead and stop there on Saturday before coming up to the shop and just go ahead and bring those to us.
Yes.
We would appreciate it. We do have a problem here, though.
Yeah.
We're not drinking anything yet.
We're not.
And we're not smoking anything yet. Pops is getting the smoking off started.
I'll get the smoking started. I am smoking tonight. Definition Cigars, as mentioned, Jamad is here. And in the spirit of his birthday, 9/19, the cigar that will put him on the map, right here.
The 9/19.
Really good. Now, what you might get, you're not seeing it
What's
off
up, Mark
camera,
Ross?
but there is a small mountain of cigars.
Actually, you'll see him on camera.
That is a small mountain of cigars that we have been wading through. We actually had 3 of our regulars that were here. All the Frakes boys were here, and the boys just got back from the TPE trade show. And we always talk about how we have a curated floor, a curated humidor.
You do?
Carefully curated, and that means that we smoke a whole bunch of cigars.
This is what
You
is
do the
actually...
legwork.
This is actually what's remaining.
That's what's remaining. I threw away 4 ashtrays just full, and we all smoked these cigars. And of all of the cigars, what did we decide? There was one brand that made it in, and there's one that's still on the fence, and the others, no bueno.
No bueno. Those
No.
are no bueno.
Yeah.
When you
None-
taste that many cigars, how do you not just burn your palate and your tongue?
Well, you really learn how to smoke it right. You have to smoke slow. You have to understand where you're going. You don't smoke the entire cigar all the way down. You get into the business, and then you understand what story is.
You want to
it's
get at
telling.
least halfway, right?
I would say after you get through the first turn into
Yeah,
the
it's like
second,
an
third,
inch in, you're starting to get the real flavors.
Okay.
But this process of evaluating cigars, it is
painstaking.
it was very cool to have others, have our customers come in and sit down and go through the process with us. So they're going to be excited to see stuff that we chose when they go in on the floor. But it is.
I got some insider talk from Brandon earlier. There's some good stuff
It
showing
made
up
it.
in the
It-
email.
that line made
was
it.
that was
We
unanimous.
got
Got a
some
thumbs up.
stuff coming in there that'll be really exciting.
Yes, I'm
Like
so
one of
excited.
them, I want to smoke every single one of the ones you talked about.
I just kept going back to it. Kept smoking it. We would smoke the others. I'd go back to it. Oh, it's so
you're
damn good.
gonna love it.
What are we drinking tonight? Is the question.
This is a bottle of Beaujolais. That means it's 100. This one in particular is 100% Gamay, which I think typically Beaujolais is. Beaujolais used to be considered categorized in Burgundy, France. When I first started reading about wines, that's what all the books said. Beaujolais is part of Burgundy, France, the region. And I thought, that's total horseshit. Because it's a totally different grape. Burgundy is always Pinot Noir or Chardonnay, white or red. And then you had Beaujolais, the mix was Gamay. I'm like, why haven't
What
they
does
split
that
off?
mean? Gamay.
It's the grape.
Okay.
It's the fruit.
Okay.
So the fruit that is in Burgundy, France, you've red or white. It's the French laws. It has to be Pinot Noir. It has to be 100% Pinot Noir to be Burgundy. It has to be 100% Chardonnay to be white Burgundy. And then at the time that I was studying, in that mix of Burgundy France, there was also a wine called Beaujolais region that was not Beaujolais region. It was considered Burgundy. But it's Beaujolais wine. It's made with 100% Gamay. It made no sense. You had Pinot Noir, Chardonnay. That's one region. Beaujolais should be exited off to another region called Beaujolais. It wasn't until recently, in the last couple of years, that finally that happened. Beaujolais is now its own area in France. Retarded it didn't happen sooner because it was very confusing that it was together. But it's a very fruit-forward wine. You get Beaujolais Nouveau a lot. I would love to go there one day. Apparently it's supposed to be a party. So when Beaujolais gets picked and made, it's Beaujolais Nouveau. And they make it. It's not made to age. It's made to crack open and drink right then. And apparently all of Beaujolais just goes balls to the wall and just drink up a bunch of brand new Beaujolais that came out.
Sounds like a party.
And it's like a festival, like Beer Fest or something. It's a festival in Beaujolais, France.
So you said you have an actual trick to get the foil off correctly, the way
So
the Psalms
mostly
do
when
it.
you're at home, if you've opened a bottle of wine before, you cut it. You have some Band-Aids on the side because you slice your fingers up and it hurts. Majority of bottles, you can take the foil right off. without
So that's the right way to do it? That's the way
Pull
I do
it.
it at the house. Okay, good.
And then it's off.
That's it.
That's it.
What in the Sam hell have I been doing?
Just pull it right off.
I thought I was getting laughed at when I did it that way.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, just do
So,
it. Yank
so
it
here's
off.
a question. Now, everybody here knows that's the entire internet's watching. By the way,
Go ahead and hit
but
share if you're watching.
make sure you're sharing this to make sure that the rest of the internet gets it. But I personally don't drink. I drank back in the day, so I would drink where some of the finest strawberries were picked. Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill. Maybe you've heard of it.
Hey, I'm from Tennessee. A
So
lot of
pinky
that's
out
going
with
on.
that while you're chugging the bottle, driving your 70 Monte Carlo. And,
I hope you still have it in the cellar aging.
Well, and
He's got the Monte Carlo.
I still have the Monte Carlo, and actually, my date to prom, when I slammed on the brakes, she was drinking some T.J. Swan apricot, some of the finest apricot you can get, and bashed and knocked her two front teeth out. But other than that, it's been good.
Why
So,
did you step on the brakes so hard?
The light turned red. I was gonna go stop, and I decided to stop.
And you busted her teeth out?
Both of them.
No way.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Good news was that her parents were raging alcoholics, so they didn't even ask her any questions.
They just pretty much
They
do
was
it.
like, we're hammered. What do we know?
I'm butchering this.
No,
First
this
time?
is-
With the wing.
First time?
I like
Well,
that.
I don't use wing ones. I use single handle, like double
Like the
hinge.
real ones.
Well, this one's like, I know a lot of people use it, but it's really specific. You got to get it in the hole. You
That's what
That's
she said.
what she said.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that's
got to get the
exactly.
cork exactly in that hole that fits perfectly. And
Yes.
Look how badly I botched that.
Yeah, that's just short bus
We
stuff right
actually
there.
have a good question.
I think
And
it's breaking.
if you're watching, we need
Yeah.
to know two things. One, what you're smoking, what you're drinking. We need to know this thing because you're seeing
Right.
what we're doing.
And do you have a wine question?
And Sean Ratz does have a wine question.
Hey,
which is,
Sean, my
if
boy.
you're trying to avoid a hangover, would you start with a red wine and finish with a white, or continue with a red, or just go all white all night long, or whiskey chaser? What do you recommend, or just drink it all?
You can drink anything you want, just make sure you hydrate after. That's it.
That's all it is.
Yeah, just drink water, pop a couple ibuprofen before you go to bed. You'll be fine.
Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, no big deal. The mixing thing doesn't really matter. Now, if you're mixing it with whiskey, that's a different story. But yeah, look how terrible that is.
Yeah, that's just straight up short bus stuff right there.
That's what a professional does.
Yeah, we really oversold your skill set here.
That's the level 1 Psalm.
Yeah, which is why the thing that I liked about the Boone's Farm quality wine is the lid just screws off conveniently.
Oh, thank you.
So
Thank
People think that
Crown heads.
wines that are screw caps are cheaper wines, and that's not true.
I've heard that.
That's not true.
Now, what about your typical
Cheers.
run of the mill?
Now we can start.
What about your box wine? How are we sitting on box wine?
Same. Great stuff is happening with wine, with box wine, with Tetra Paks, which are like the little cardboard kind of wines.
Yeah.
Also, canned wines are really popular right now.
Really?
What do you mean canned wines?
It looks like your Dr. Pepper, but it's wine in a can. Crack it open.
And that they're actually making good canned wines.
Yeah, it's very popular.
That sounds like a soccer mom thing. I can see every soccer mom dropping their kid off at school with a drink in their. Hey, I got a Coke over here.
One of the things you gotta think of is when wines moved around for anything, right? Shipping at all, it's weight. Right? So when I bought this bottle, I bought the glass too, because the glass weighs. But if you're buying a bottle out of a bladder, out of a Tetra Pak, out of a can, it weighs less. So you're actually getting more bang for your buck because you're not wasting your money on the glass part of it.
So a
lot of wineries are coming up into that space. So some great wineries are going into those kinds. So I wouldn't down it all.
Are there wineries? Are there different wines that are maybe out of a bladder or box? However, that we could get here that you would recommend us checking out?
I haven't went to the stores that have those here to be able to have them off the top of my
head. But
they're always changing though. Every time I go, it's a new company coming out. California, obviously, they're very trendy. There's a lot of companies coming out of that. I've had a champagne sparkling out of California out of a can. That was just fine and dandy.
I'll tell you what, Mark Voss is coming in strong, drinking Hotel California tequila
don't hate
right
on
now.
It.
Oh, we got fire coming over.
So Chris Coulter's bragging on several box wines he's had that have been phenomenal. I'm pretty impressed that he spelled phenomenal right.
Yeah.
That's nice.
There's nothing wrong
compared to your connoisseur, your version of connoisseur.
That's why we moved
outside of like Sutter Home and stuff, the cheap stuff. That's where I think it got the bad rap. Is really cheap wines came out with it. But now the advances on it are so, leaps and bounds from where that started. So don't think that. And same thing with screw caps. Screw caps doesn't necessarily mean cheap either. All it means really is your wine's always going to taste like that. It's never going to age. It's always going to taste fresh. But yeah, it stays good. Synthetic corks are the only crappy thing. But you won't know that you're buying a wine with a synthetic cork until you take the foil off.
Yeah,
right.
So you're kind of like a, shit show with that.
Well, that's so interesting because I just bought a screw cap wine. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize it was until I got home and I thought, I've just been gypped. And then I crack it up and it was fantastic. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
Just the advances in it because you got to think too. So with the glass, corks cost money. You're about $1 a cork. That's what they cost. Because in order to get a cork, it comes from a cork tree. Mm-hmm. It's not like they just shell it out with plastic out of a factory. They have to go out and shave a cork tree to make the cork. That's how you can get a tainted wine, the trees disease. When you hear about a corked wine, it's because of the trees disease that they got the cork bark from. But yeah, that's like $1 right there. So you start thinking about that. Okay, I'm paying $1 for the cork out of this. I'm paying, $3 for the glass.
$3 or $4 into the glass.
Yeah,
you got heavy shipping. You got to put it in a wooden crate.
And the other stuff, you're getting right to the business.
Yeah.
You're getting right to the juice. So you're really getting more bang for the buck.
Oh, that's interesting. Because if it costs the manufacturer $1, you're not paying $1.
No.
Right? So you could have conceivably $6-7 in packaging of your cost. That you're paying for.
Well, think about how much we talk about that with cigars.
Right.
If you saw full-page ads in Cigar Aficionado, it's about a $250,000 contract in order to put ads in their 6 magazines during the year. That is in the cost of the cigar. So how did the ad taste? Because it's added cost to the cigar.
Absolutely.
And advertising and all that stuff, all that marketing is all going into the cost of the cigar.
The wine industry is really changing to kind of a hipper side of things. You got social media now. So you're talking about advertising. A lot of these companies that are smaller that you see with the canned wines and stuff, they can get the stuff out better. It's easier to get a can to put the wine in rather than glass and a cork and get that shipped in. So it's more accessible to put the container to put their wine in. And they can self-advertise. They can self-advertise through Instagram. They can get an influencer on board with them. They don't have to get a TV commercial or an ad in a magazine. You don't have to do that in today's day and age. All you have to do is make your stuff go viral or get a following.
Right. Get a Kardashian to be sitting with this stuff in the school line, dropping their kids off, and
that's it.
They probably do that.
Let me ask you: when it comes to bottling, I know in whiskey they will inject a gas in the top. Will they do the same thing with wine? They do
argon
that to get
gas.
Argon, that's it. So same thing. Same
argon. Thing. You can there's a tool that you can buy that's called a Coravin, And I don't know if you've heard of it before. It's so you can take wine out of a bottle without ever opening it.
Oh, is that the deal that's like a
needle?
A tube needle, yeah. You slide it through and then...
Yeah,
bing,
and
bang,
the
boom.
cartridge that goes on that's argon gas. So as you're pulling the wine out, you're putting argon gas in, so it keeps the wine fresh for a really, really, really
Interesting.
Like years.
I just say don't be a pussy and drink the whole bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of pussies in the world.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That should have been. That's good. I'm going to redo the quote for this.
Yeah.
If you have questions, please feel free to bring them in, fire them in, because that's, as you know, we don't operate with a script here. So
We no
we didn't
script.
provide you with the
There's no
script. I thought we emailed it. I thought.
I mean, last time I was on the show, I was drawing an obscene picture on a lot of things.
Yeah, that we
I
were
was just
reminded
talking
of
to Sean
that.
about that.
We were reminded of
you
that.
know who
by
got
Sean.
that?
Well, it was on
Johnny-
everything.
Johnny Goodner got. You remember the ashtray you drew the
and
penises on?
You told me to do it. You said draw one right there in the middle, really big, and I was like, I don't even know this guy.
At first, he wasn't excited about it.
You said they would be fine.
It grew on him.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
at
He
first,
has it sitting outside. He's explained it to his 14-year-old daughter, and everything's good.
I was talking to Sean Ratz about that, and he said, "Hey, were you the one that put that on there?" And I said, "Yeah, that was me." And he goes, "I love it." He said that was one of the funniest nights. I was laughing so hard watching that show.
Yep.
He said somebody he knew said that, "Oh, I know where your locker is now and what you have in there. I'm going to go steal the cigar." And Sean said, "Go ahead, steal the cigar, but leave the box."
Yes.
He said he loves it.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
That was the only one, by the way, I was planning on drawing on because the only person that I knew out of the whole bunch.
But we were
Well,
deep
Johnny's
in the
out there.
show.
He's a winner. Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, one thing that I really find myself, especially in this world, is you have beer drinkers or whiskey drinkers, but it doesn't seem like that palette shares very much. It doesn't seem like there's beer and whiskey drinkers, from a generalization,
Okay.
of course. But it does seem like most, if not everyone, enjoys wine. And I don't know why that is, but I've noticed that you
Maybe because
sit on the spectrum in different
There's
areas.
more of a spectrum.
Maybe that's what it is.
You know, you think about the beer spectrum. You've got hops, you've got IPA, you've got stouts, you've got the cleaner light beers, you've got the English lagers, which, you know, whatever. I don't really like lagers. But, you know, same thing with whiskeys. Yes, there's a spectrum of whiskeys, but, you know, it's not like you're getting like a peaty and then a bubbly. It's not that kind of a range with whiskeys either. With wine, it's a huge range. You can get sparkling. You can get sweet sparkling. You can get sweet wines. You can get dry white wines. You can get big-bodied, buttery, oaky white wines. You know, then you're going over to red wine. I mean, it's such a huge range.
Right.
You've got ports. You've got wines that are fortified with cognac. You know, you're getting 22% alcohol out of that bottle.
So
It's a
fortified
huge
just
range.
means they add alcohol to
Yeah.
it, right? Okay.
Yeah, so...
And they're adding cognac to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Not
cognac's
like
made
grain,
with grapes.
grain alcohol. or
Cognac's
anything.
made with grapes, so they're doing it with the same made with made kind of thing.
Mm.
With wine, the way it's made is you're basically eating yeast feces in the wine.
Great.
Yeah.
That's
what
nice.
that
That's
is.
right, because we're smoking beetles. So there's beetles in every one of these. So you get protein, which
the
is
yeast,
nice.
The yeast gets added to the grapes, who has sugar in it, and the yeast eat the sugar and poop out the alcohol. That's what you're drinking, alcohol. In order to get the sweetness and everything with ports, but still in high alcohol, they add the cognac in the middle of the process, so the sugar content's still high, but then you also get an alcohol content because you're adding the booze in.
What I think is so cool is
Kills the yeast right off when you put the cognac in.
the wine process is so similar to cigars. You take raw product, you ferment it, you age it, you
Yes.
get it put together. Post-production aging is a big deal.
Yes.
And
And some
I'm-
countries have, like, maybe like cigars too, there are certain rules in countries, they're not even able to release it until you're, 3 years aging or something. There's certain rules for that too. Certain wines, certain regions, certain countries that have certain rules that you can't get something new. It has to age for a certain amount of time.
I'm surprised with that wine is not a bigger pairing partner with cigars like whiskeys, especially whiskeys and scotches, or whiskeys in general. That
But you don't
is
hear
just.
about it as much?
I don't think
or-
I hear about it as much. I don't have as many people coming in saying, I
I'm
have
buying
this
a
nice
nice bottle,
burgundy and I need a cigar that goes with it. every day see someone coming in.
There might be a correlation with the manliness of that. You know, it's more manly to smoke a cigar and have a bourbon. Yeah, I'm a man. I'm still doing this. Whereas when you're drinking out of a glass, this is a little bit more dainty and refined.
Yep. Mark,
you know, it might be that too.
Mark is coming in asking what's my go-to as far as tequila goes, what brand. Chris Coulter's coming in saying he likes going with Reposado or Añejo, Don Julio or Herradura. I'll tell you what,
okay.
At the
He
end,
speaks Spanish.
at the end of it, my favorite tequila to pair, and I thank Chris Pennington for this, is Socorro.
Okay.
Either the Reposado or Añejo has this butterscotch element to it. It's very sweet. The new tequilas that are coming out, the Highland tequilas, Casamigos does a great job. Maestro Doble is a phenomenal tequila, but it has this sweetness where you can find a cigar that cuts through it, but it's nice and it has a nice, how do you say it, a comparative pair versus a contrasting pair.
Yeah, so complementary versus contrasting.
So you have something that complements it very well. Where that's where I truly enjoy. I would rather drink a wine and smoke a cigar versus drink a whiskey and smoke a cigar.
What about a dark rum?
Dark rum's become very popular.
It's very, very
Tequila
good.
and rum have become very popular with the guys that are in here, and I think it's like cigars where people will kind of go, I want mild to medium, and then they get on a full kick, and then they kind of ride this roller coaster of strength. I think a lot of guys kind of get tired of, they have their whiskey and they get tired of it, so they switch to rum, and then they get tired of it, and then they're kind of on that same ride looking for something different instead of just whiskey every day. I know there are some guys that are that way, but
I think
I see this, and that could be too.
I think they're chasing the culture, and I think Scotch was that way 5-10 years ago. Now whiskeys and bourbons are in that, especially that from where you're from, and I think tequilas will be next. But I think it's just the next cool thing. Whereas, Jesus drank wine, and it's been around for thousands of years. It is steadfast. It is something that is.
I think another thing also people may be scared of with wine is they think, okay, well, I'm not going to drink wine because in order for me to drink a good wine, it has to be like $50, $60, $100 a bottle. It's absolutely not true. This one's $22 for this bottle. By the way, this bottle is from Bar and Garden wine store on Ross in Dallas. Great spot. They change their inventory all the time. I did not recognize not one thing in there, which is super fun for me. I bought a bottle of Armenian champagne, which I think is really dope. I've never had any Armenian wine before. The lady was super informative. She tasted me on some stuff. There was a elote liqueur that they had.
Interesting.
It looked like a corn, like it had the ripples, like a corn on the cob. And I was like, what is this? Does this taste like corn? And she said, let me taste you on it. So they're really nice. She poured some. She was like, oh yeah, I have some open. I'll pour you some. So they were really cool.
What's the name of the place?
Bar and Garden.
Bar and Garden.
Ross.
Interesting.
It's right down the street from
So you could get fertilizer there.
Which is
you get fertilizer and get your wine.
Yeah.
So like if you're going to do yard work, you grab a bottle of wine.
They got wine, they got liquors, they got beer, they have non-alcoholic stuff, they have mixers.
I'll have to check that place out.
They got all kinds of things.
Chris Coulter coming in strong with Mezcal. I am completely out of Mezcal. That is...
No go.
It's just smoky. Now there are some that are not as smoky, but it's just like a
I thought you said
sky.
Moscato. I was like, are you out of your Moscato stash?
I am in on Moscatos.
You are?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
A sweet wine like that.
My wife
my
loves
god,
it.
I will get down with Moscatos. You talk about the manly side of things where guys don't want to drink a wine. No problem. Give me a Moscato. I'm happy as hell.
In public, I have found that guys love the sissy drinks. They're like a sweet thing. They're like give me a cocktail with some fruits and all that stuff in. It's delicious, but they won't do it in front of other people.
You know what? I think you're right.
Right? They won't do it in front of people.
Yeah.
They'll drink it at home.
Closet fruits is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, look at Rodney Smith. I don't know if he's tuning in right now.
Speaking of closet fruits.
Rodney, sorry about what he said, but with what Rodney, he was at your house and you made him a double cappuccino.
Yeah, double. We called it the Flapalapa Ding Dong, and He loved it so much that I actually went and bought him one of the machines so he can make them at home. But he was starting to look like a crackhead out in front of my house, just like, hey man, can I get one of them flap-a-ding
Scratch his neck. Can I get another hit of that?
Begley's doing all kinds of corn shit all over the inside and caramel and all this stuff. It was the gayest looking thing I've ever seen.
I will tell you what, though. Larry Adams chimes in with Topo Chico, and I absolutely love a Sunday. If you do like a little Sunday at the house, weather's nice, windows are open, you're hanging outside, make a sangria. Take some red wine, take some fruit in there, throw some Topo Chico, maybe a little ginger ale on top of it.
Supposed to have a little cognac and brandy in there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's how you make it, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to put a little bit of that in there.
I've got that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'll have to send you a little something.
Oh, please do, because we'll do that. Have you had a calimocho?
I don't think so.
Okay, calimocho is something that my wife's dad did when he was alive, and he would do. It was the best way to get away with cheap wine. So what he would do is, and I recommend anyone to try it because it's fantastic. It's on ice, and it's half red wine, half Diet Coke or Coke. It sounds really weird.
That's a Chinese thing.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, that's how you say
Chinese
it.
do.
That's how you say it in Spanish.
Really?
It's very popular in China for years now. They take red wine and mix it with Coca-Cola. That's what the Chinese do.
It's awesome.
They get really asshole-like with it because they'll take like a $500 bottle of wine and mix it with Coca-Cola. And they're just like dicks about it. Yeah, it's totally a Chinese thing.
You're kidding me.
No, it's very popular in China.
Oh, I'm telling you.
And Mexico.
Yeah.
And now Frisco.
But yeah, in
Frisco
Mexico,
and Little Elm.
I've never tried it, but yeah.
It's surprisingly good. It's fresh.
You want us to go get you a Coke?
You know what?
That's
That's
so
funny.
funny.
That's funny you say it because I feel like someone has told me that before. That
Might have been me.
someone does that by pouring Coke inside of $500 bottles of wine. So maybe it was you that told me that before. That is super interesting, but I recommend it to anyone for sure. Oh,
I mean,
it's awesome.
there's enough people in China. I mean, it can't be wrong, right?
Well,
Population's gigantic.
I mean, you start. Yeah, you're right.
So Chris is coming in with he's firing up a Partagas 160 from Larry Adams, kicking off his 2022 cigar journey.
How cool is
Well, I'll tell you what, you're starting at the top of the hill. There's no place but down from there.
that 160? I had somebody running the 160 down the other day in here, and I thought, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you just leave. Go smoke your ass at someplace.
Have you had a
else.
160?
It's just
what is a 160?
Partagas 160. It has tobacco. Now this year is 50 years old. It's
Partagas cigar.
1972
Yeah.
and 1977. Cameroon wrapper, sensational. It was our number 3 cigar of the year, and it was number 3 cigar of the year this year, and it was rolled in 2005.
yeah.
It's been around.
The tobacco was
I've
shipped
had a
from the
Partagas
Dominican
before, but I don't think I had that one.
it was shipped to Spain, stolen, and they found it in 1993 in a humidified warehouse. They contacted Partagas. Partagas got them, rolled half of the tobacco in 1995 for this Partagas 150, their 150th anniversary.
Tobacco was stolen.
The whole shipment of tobacco. So, and then in 2005 for their 160th anniversary, Partagas 160, they took that with a wrapper from 1977. And so that cigar's been
crazy.
rolled
That's
for
a
15,
crazy
16,
story.
17 years.
And now here's what's crazy. We have them in the humidor in 3 sizes. Knowing what you know, how expensive do you think that cigar is?
$35 stick.
Right. 19. 19.
Now,
That thing-
on
That's something I'm
because that cigar doesn't exist anymore,
Sure, yeah.
we were able to negotiate a deal. But the fact is, the cigar doesn't exist. So it's like whiskeys and some of this, and I'm sure wine.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
secondary market for it. So these cigars are selling for $50 to $75 a
tertiary
stick.
for there's market for that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So to find the number, the A, which is basically a very long Lancero, those are going for about
Drew
$150 a
Estate's
stick.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It doesn't fit in fucking
Yeah.
anything.
Nothing.
It doesn't fit in anything.
No, you got to lay it
You
over
gotta-
the top.
Yeah, I know.
Cut it in half. You got 2
I'm
cigars.
well aware of
But
that.
in my opinion, the 160 smokes better than the 150.
Oh, no doubt about
That
it.
extra 10 years flat.
That 10 years flattens so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Speaking of cigars, Brandon, what are you smoking?
Oh, you know what? We should talk at least a moment about
Let's talk a minute about cigars.
I am actually smoking. Thank you for picking this out. This
Yeah.
is perfect. This is the Jake Wyatt Lithium. Now, what's cool about the Jake Wyatt Lithium and what's unique is it's really an ode to Cuba, because before the soil was really just ravaged, the main component of what made a Cuban cigar truly unique was the amount of lithium in the soil. The climate was fantastic and it was perfect, but the lithium
Sounds toxic.
made it
I
fantastic.
think lithium. I think batteries.
Well, if you think of lithium, think of 1970s hippies, right? It's this really nice, mellowing component to a cigar.
Get you high.
So it would actually relax you, right? Now that is almost non-existent in the soil. So Jake Wyatt actually created this lithium to give you a cigar that is predominantly created so you can retrohale it, and it brings the flavor out. It's made for someone who knows how to smoke cigars. This is a tremendous, tremendous cigar. No pepper, all flavor, very passive on the palate, but when you retrohale, it pops to life.
And that cigar was designed to retrohale. You're designed to push it through your nose, designed to get all those flavors
I'm not
out.
a retrohaler.
This could change you.
That
I know,
would change you.
I know what a retrohale is, but I don't do it because I'm gonna like choke myself out.
Well, you're predominantly smoking the bigger stuff, right? You smoke, even in that Crux du Connoisseur you smoke, it's bigger Nicaraguan.
Medium to medium plus normally, so yeah.
That's usually going to give you too much to retro. This, predominantly Dominican tobacco, but it's got this nice rosado wrap. It's nice.
It hits your palate stronger than you think. So when you retrohale it, like I always say, it comes in as a 6, it leaves as a 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You
feel
Very
nothing.
Nice. Very clean.
That's interesting.
Feel nothing on my palate. We just smoked about 30 to 40 cigars, and this almost cleans the palate. Very nice. Sean Rath's coming in smoking an Aladino Cameroon Lancero. Fantastic cigar.
Yep.
Pops?
What's Maggie smoking?
So she has the KBF, which is Principal, KBF Gold, limited edition. Every time that cigar comes in, it's different. That particular one has a Connecticut wrapper on it. That is kind of the testing ground for Darren. If the KBF Golds work, it will ultimately become a aviator. That cigar is really, really good. But you said you wanted something a little bit lighter for this red. It shouldn't get in the way. It's not peppery.
But
it's smooth. It draws good. I haven't had to really relight it. It's really good.
But here's the thing. That is a Connecticut, but a full body cigar. So you as a wine som, you understand full body versus full strength really in the cigar world. And people, if they hear full body, they'll get away from it because it means strong. They don't necessarily
we go
mean
back
the
to the
texture.
beginning. There's a lot of pussies in the world. We go back to that.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll probably
wrap
circle back to that. Pops is smoking the 919 by Definition Cigars, Ecuadorian Maduro wrapper, Nicaraguan binder fillet. That thing is damn good.
This thing, you know how like if you have cheesecake makes me feel good. If I have a piece of cheesecake, I know that the day has gone right. I probably just had a good meal, and cheesecake just makes me feel
What
good.
kind
This
of
thing,
cheesecake? Does it have
just
chocolate
straight
on
up
it?
cheesecake.
Just straight plain cheesecake.
Straight up
I like-
cheesecake.
I
And
like
this,
straight
that
Straight
buttery,
cheesecake?
I do.
creamy, saltiness, caramel. It's all
See,
in
he's
there.
going New York style. See, I'm going New York cheesecake. That's where I'm going. I'm going
I don't like all the crap on there.
I'm going chocolate and caramel inside of it.
Inside of it.
Well, you kind of layer it down in there. Oh yeah, I'm for
really?
it. Oh yeah, with the little Oreo crust.
I mean, I'm not going to down it
I'm
because I
basic
haven't
as
had it,
shit.
but
Oh yeah.
I do normally do the normal plain graham cracker crust. nothing on
Okay,
it.
all right. Let's take a poll here. Do you like cheesecake with fruit on it, with the chocolate and caramel, or just straight plain? The only pie that I'll do straight plain is Pops makes a key lime pie. It'll make you punch a baby.
What the
You will
hell else
punch-
are you supposed to put in a key lime pie?
You will punch
Oh.
a baby.
You're talking about straight? What do people normally put on them?
Whipped
I don't
cream,
know if
Cool
they do
Whip.
or not.
Cool
yeah,
Whip.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm
Cool
not
Whip
a Cool
by
Whip
a
person.
mountain.
Preston's a Cool Whip fan. I'm a whipped cream fan. I like whipped cream. He's a Cool Whip guy.
This stuff it's got the right amount of sour that it.
Evan Hurst is saying straight cheesecake with a single like to
Yeah.
it. So far it sounds like that's winning.
So far, it sounds like you're losing.
I think you're right.
So I think we should probably at least get at least one. Have you watched this show? Do you know there's a series of questions that we ask our guests?
I think she's new to
Weird
this
fucking
one.
questions.
Yeah, so we're going to ask you a series
That
of
I don't know
questions,
beforehand.
and this is for people to size you up as a person.
We're gonna go
So
one by one here.
one question number one:
Okay.
Sasquatch, yes or no?
Oh, does he exist?
Yeah. No, she's from Nashville. I'm sure they're walking out.
I'm gonna side with somebody that loves cigars. Steve Saka. Yes, Sasquatch.
Yes on Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve Saka sold me on Sasquatch is real.
Well, his reason for it is a little different.
You know why he's the Sasquatch, right? Mm-mm. Because they see Sasquatch in their retail accounts as much as they see Steve Saka. He is unseen in his.
He doesn't make visits to stores very often, so he said you'll see Sasquatch in the store before you see me.
I was a big fan of Steve Saka. We were in Orlando, Florida. I forget the name of the cigar lounge. It was a big cigar lounge.
Probably Corona.
Yeah, Corona. That's what it was. We're sitting outside as we do when we're there, and we're just striking up conversations with random people. And I bring up, man, I love Steve Saka's cigars. They're awesome. He's such a cool dude, and watch his Instagram. Blah blah blah. He goes, yeah, he's a cool guy. Hey, you want to talk to him? I said, what? And he goes, I'll call him up right now. I go, what? He goes, yeah. And he pulls his phone out, dials it, shows me that he's calling Steve Saka. And he picks up the phone and goes, hey, Steve, I got somebody here that likes your cigars. Let's talk to you. He hands me the phone. I was like, what the shit is going on right now? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna actually call Sasquatch for you, so you're gonna have a conversation. So yeah, we'll show you.
So should we go to question 2?
Yeah, number 2, because she has. I figured in parts of Tennessee they probably sit around, drink moonshine with Sasquatch. They probably hang around.
Yeah, there's a lot
have
of
some
cousins.
barbecue.
No, they drink enough moonshine they see Sasquatch.
Oh, that's
that
yeah. Earlier in the day, her name was Susie, but now that bitch is Sasquatch. Yeah.
You get that first pour. Woo, white lightning.
Yeah, white lightning. Get a little furry lip. And all
that's it. So question number 2.
UFOs.
Oh, real. We're gonna get fucked up by aliens any minute. They're waiting to pounce on us like ants.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I'm pretty sure that some of them are amongst us.
100%. There's no way we could be so arrogant to think that we're it. I mean, I'm not even in tune with everything. There's so much has been discovered in space. There's no way we're alone.
I'm pretty sure last week
we're also not superior in it.
I agreed, and I think when Nate messed up and then ate too many gummies, he then was speaking with aliens on the other side.
Is this in Vegas? Is this what happened in Vegas? I remember he was walking. We were meeting him for dinner because we just flew in late, and they're walking. And Nate's at a point where he's thinking about what it takes to walk. Is he like walking the robot?
He was walking
like
a
left,
lot of hitches,
left, right, left, right.
Have you seen
left?
Charles Barkley swing a golf club?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what Nathan looked like.
He has that thing that's called where you go, and then
that's it.
Yeah, that was Nate walking.
And I'm pretty sure he was speaking with aliens on the other side. So,
could have been. I mean, you listen to like Joe Rogan talking about that drug you take or whatever. He talks about
DMT.
Yeah. He talks about how you get into like another dimension, all this stuff. I mean,
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
No,
I don't
it's
like.
Too scary. I don't like losing
too
control.
Scary. It is scary because you're gonna die.
So, question number 3: ghosts. Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, that's a triple yes.
Do you have a ghost story?
Ooh, okay. Hang on, let me turn the mic to you.
It's gonna give me goosebumps. I did not believe in ghosts. I was always like, hey, if there's a ghost, stay the fuck away from me. I don't like them. If they exist, get away from me. My mom had just died. I was 25 years old. I was in my apartment alone, and I fell asleep on the couch. It was like the night after. I fell asleep on the couch with my head on the armrest part hanging over. I wake up to somebody brushing my hair, like hands through my hair, like just like a mom would do, like brushing through. And I was like half asleep. I'm waking up a little bit. I'm feeling it, and then it dawns on me that there's nobody in my apartment, so he's touching my fucking hair. And I jump up, and I got goosebumps just now.
That's real goosebumps. Look at
it. It is.
That's real goosebumps. I got to attest to that.
I jumped up and I started yelling in my apartment. I was like, Mom, if that's you, stay the fuck away from me. You know how I feel about ghosts. Don't touch me. That's cool. You're here. Whatever. Like, just, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I don't like that. Just don't touch me.
It's your mom.
Yeah. And I had several dreams after that where she would pop up in my dreams. That might be a subconscious thing, but yeah, I woke up to somebody stroking my hair.
And you felt it. It wasn't like a bump. It was like...
No, it was like somebody, like if you've got long hair, like a mom, they grab it and they're just like stroking. That's how I felt on the edge, and I, used to have really long hair, and oh my gosh, I still have goosebumps because it was so real. Oh, it freaked me out.
The more we talk to different people and hear this, the more I believe, because when I saw the size of Busy's goosebumps when he was talking about it, all that stuff.
Still got him.
Busy's got a crazy story about having his mom's ashes or dad's ashes or something, and it's a whole story. You've got to hear it. It's incredible. It's
somebody close to him. I mean, mine was my mom had just passed away.
And it's always right after, right?
Wasn't it his son or somebody that kept saying
"Cooey cooey"?
Cooey.
Yeah, grandpa or grandma or whatever it was, and kept saying "Cooey cooey cooey cooey." Well, then later they come back, months or years later, they come back and find out that "Cooey cooey" was where his daughter was pointing at was right where the ashes were.
Give me goosebumps.
All right. And he saged the house. Get out, you ain't paying rent.
After it happened, I jumped up, I yelled in the room, but I also was like, hey, that's cool. You want to watch over me? That's fine. Just don't touch me. Just don't touch me anymore. I'm not down with that.
No, that's the big three. I mean, it helps us. That's a triple yes. That's triple yes.
That might be the first triple yes.
Yeah.
You saw my goosebumps.
Oh, that's...
As soon as you asked me, I was like, I'm going to get goosebumps when I think about it, because it freaked me out.
Yeah.
It really did.
That would be pretty freaky.
I'm not, you hear a lot of people, ghost stories that are like, they believe in it, and they welcome it, and they're looking for it. I didn't want it. I just stay away from me. Like, I was not, like people say, if your mind's open to it, what happens. Mine was closed shut. Okay, I was not open to it at all, and it happened. I mean, it wasn't like I was like trying to reach her. No, I was asleep. Like, okay, she's dead. It's over with. Like, she went to wherever she was going. It's done. Moving on.
Whoa.
I was 25 at the time. I was the only kid. I had to deal with her estate, and I had a lot of stuff on my mind. I wasn't like chilling at home doing a seance trying to reach her. Like,
no Ouija boards were out.
I was exhausted from dealing with her house stuff all day, and I fell asleep on the couch.
Wow, you lost your mom at 25.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she had a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
She lived a very unhealthy lifestyle.
Okay. So. Your dad? And are you close to your father?
No, my dad's also dead.
Oh, Jesus.
Also an unhealthy lifestyle.
Really?
He really loved the meth.
Oh.
Yeah, that takes kids young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with him. I was born in Hawaii. Meth's very popular in Hawaii. And he, it's called, gosh, I forget the name of it now, but it's called something else out there. But yeah, he did it for years, and apparently he got clean. But like, anybody knows anything about meth, it kills your body. Just eats you up. And I think too much damage was done to his body. And yeah, he got diagnosed with like stage 4 something cancer, like colon cancer or something. And he called me, told me about it. And me and Preston was gonna go out there in like 2 months. He said he had 6 months to live. He died within like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, but he just did too much damage to his body.
I didn't know you're from Hawaii.
I am.
Oh, wow.
I moved to Nashville when I was like 4. My mom had enough of my dad's shenanigans and left, and I didn't have any say in it. So.
Wow. So you left the beach and you went to the hills.
My mom had an identical twin, and she lived in Nashville at the time. They're all from Alabama, and they went to Nashville. So my mom went to Nashville they both raised me, 2 twins. Some people think that's confusing, but they looked very different to me. I'm sure your brothers probably look very different to you.
Oh, 100%.
People go, I can't tell them apart. And I'm like, oh, they're so different.
They're so different. All you have to do is just sit with them for about an hour, and you know.
I'll tell you the most bizarre funeral / after the funeral party that I went to was.
That's a good story.
Well, it was one of my good friends in high school. His name's Jim Omer, and his dad had an identical twin, and they were identical. And we go to the funeral, and we're sitting at the house afterwards, and we're all just kind of sitting around, and then all of a sudden his uncle comes walking in through the garage door, and we were just at his dad's funeral, and it looked like his dad walked in the door, and everybody, the whole room went just dead silent, because it's like, that was a real quick reminder, because as soon as he walked in, it was like, we were just at your funeral.
Were y'all like a little?
It was bizarre.
There were 12.
Hey, we had Boone's Farm was flowing. I was in high school, so Boone's Farm was flowing. We had it going. And by the way, we didn't get Boone's Farm in the box. We got it in the glass, the real bottles.
Oh, so you're classy.
Are you kidding? Pinky out.
You think you would get the whole Burke High School cheerleader squad in the back of your El Camino if you brought it by the box?
Did you drink before you were 21?
I drank before I was 21.
What was your drink before you were 21?
Beer predominantly.
What beer?
I think probably. Well, I do remember because Nick gave me one when I was probably 18 or 19 and it had a pop top. It was Grolsch.
Oh, okay.
Grolsch has a pop top.
Never
So it's
heard
like,
of that.
oh, Grolsch is a German beer. Disgusting. And
I was gonna
and I was
say
like,
fancy, but
that's fancy, right? Because you could close it back up so that way it could get all flat
Oh,
on you.
the little quart with the metal thing?
With the little metal thing. So
wow.
they still have it. So I would say that. I don't know. I always had a pretty decent, healthy fear of doing something to really mess it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I mean,
didn't.
even the kids I hung out with, all that stuff. I remember it was like a huge qualifier. Is this kid a drinker in high school? Which, thankfully, because there were some kids that I hung out with in high school that were just slightly, but they were kind of the partiers, so I just let them go, and they weren't really truly friends.
Mm-hmm.
And watching where their lives went, oh man, that healthy fear was so good.
I definitely regularly got fucked up in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I definitely drank more before I turned 21, for sure. And I'll tell you what, in high school there was a beer, I don't think they make it anymore, but at the time there was a beer that came out called Tequiza.
That sounds like trouble.
It was supposed to be beer and tequila. I don't know if I had any tequila in it, but it was called Tequiza. And I remember I would be like saving up my money to give somebody that was of age to go in and get it. Give me Tequiza. I was like dead set on Tequiza. And I loved like, oh, Tequiza. I felt so cool. Oh, I'm drinking Tequiza.
With a name like that, how did it not last?
Yeah.
Tequiza, and then, whatever you can get your hands on. So Budweiser, Bud Light, sitting around. And
yeah, I suppose kids in where I grew up, they probably did like Busch Light or
whatever their dad had.
Yeah, basically.
Whatever their dad had, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was basically it.
I was at one of my friends' house one time that raided their parents' liquor cabinet, and they bet money that I couldn't do these like 5 different shots. It was like the most disgusting stuff lined up, right? I remember one of them was Goldenschlager. And then
that was probably the first liquor I had that Grandpa gave me when we were snowboarding.
It's doable. It's like cinnamon.
So Goldschlager, I think. So I would have been well under 21. I was probably maybe in like that 18. But we were night skiing in Keystone, and when we were on the lift. And we didn't take the gondola that was enclosed. We were on the lift. And we were sitting in there. And all of a sudden it stopped. And it was just sitting there. And the wind was coming. It was howling. And we were with his friend Ron
Sheath.
Is that Ron Sheath?
Yeah.
And they're sitting there. And we are just freezing to death. In the darkness in Keystone. And all of a sudden Grandpa has a flask. And so he's like, this will warm you up. So Ron takes some. And they give me some. And I was like, it's hot in hell. It was Goldschlager, exactly what it was.
Cinnamon.
It was like cinnamon, but I remember the way it warmed my body up.
Really?
I was like, oh my God, yeah. So that saved my life that day.
My shots ended with wild turkey.
Oh.
And
nothing good can come from that.
Almost did me over. They were betting that I would Ralph after the fish shot. And then, I was such a tomboy in high school. So I was just like, I've got too much pride. I won't let it happen,
So here's
I took
where...
a shot. I won the money. I didn't Ralph.
Here's where the fear
I said a lot of very
came in.
obscene things to the guys right afterwards.
We went to...
For sure.
We went to... There was a high school graduation party in Elkhorn that we went to. But I wasn't drinking. I was driving because, that was basically... I wasn't super interested in that in high school. Nor really did I have too much of that, but I was driving, so that was the DD. But there was a whole bunch of people. We went to this party. It was the biggest party you've ever seen, and to this day, it is the biggest bust of minor in possession in Nebraska history. The parents got debarred. It was a whole deal.
Something similar happened to my
And so I'm leaving. I was like, I have no interest. So I went and got Taco Bell. And all of a sudden, all the people I was driving, they're like, get us out, get us out. The cops raided that thing like it was a drug bust.
Did you get them out?
There were helicopters. There were 2 helicopters.
There were helicopters?
Oh, no. There were people hiding
What
on
are y'all doing in Nebraska? The helicopters are busting a high school.
They weren't
party.
busy.
They weren't busy.
They weren't looking at traffic.
But it was the days of Facebook where people didn't realize the cops could see Facebook. So they posted it everywhere. and it got busted. I think it was like 180 or 190.
What year were you high school?
I had just graduated.
Well, like wait, date.
So it was 07.
Oh, okay.
So it was right at the beginning of Facebook. Cops were looking at it, and I just remember pulling up to it to break my friends out because I was John Wick or whatever, and they were just helicopters with lights on. I was like, nope. Keep on driving. So I just dropped to the end and I just shut the car off and was like, well, if they make it, they make it. I mean, shit, you make your own decisions.
I was in high school in the late 90s. I graduated in 2000. And something similar, not helicopters, but something similar happened to my high school where somebody really smart, because everybody's real smart in high school, they thought their senior graduation party should be printed on flyers.
Oh.
Handing them out.
Can't trace that.
There's some, kids that were like,
at least they got a map.
Fuck these cool kids, and just like dropped it on the floor. And so a teacher came by and saw the flyer, date, address,
map,
who's hosting, what to bring the drugs, bring the alcohol. I mean, it was all on there. And it was out in the middle of the field, as I hear people do in Texas too, because Preston said they had field parties here. But here, he says flat, you can see both ways if cops are coming. But
which knows you're screwed.
The story was, I didn't go because I was like, I'm not going to that, sounds lame. And they did it on flyers, they're totally going to get busted. So I didn't go to it. But the next day, like, you heard people who had got arrested. So the cops obviously showed up to it. But the funny thing was that the reputation to do it for senior party was you broke in to somebody's, like, farm area to do it. You're not asking permission. Like, you break into it. So they went to this, they thought it was empty, and they heard, the guy's gone or whatever. Break the lock, get in, they're throwing this party. The guy apparently is boinking a chick in his house. It's not his wife. Comes out with a shotgun. Like, all these kids are in on his property having a party, like a bonfire, drinking, and he's like, comes out. So not only do they have the cops stopping them from the gate side, but then they have the owner coming out with a shotgun, shoving them out. I mean, they were totally screwed. They had nowhere to go. So many kids got arrested.
Did you have stuff like that in high school?
We had a party. We had this place that was called the Schoolhouse, and it was an old single room schoolhouse from like the late 1800s,
wow.
And it was on this property, which is now a really cool, like an architect bought the house, but it's now like on 192nd. But back then, you drove forever to get out to 192nd, but there was an old bridge that was went way up steep, leveled out real quick, and then went way down this hill over this creek. Well, all my friends are like, drop me off at the party, man. I want to have fun. So when I went, I was like, hey, I got almost airborne on this. So I dropped my friends off, and I'm like, I'm going to go back and do some more jumps. So I'm sitting here hitting this thing 50, 60 miles an hour, going off and getting all four wheels off the ground of my Monte Carlo. Just Evil Knievel in it. So then I finally, like the fourth time I turn around, I'm just like this little retard out there by myself. And I come flying over, and all I see is cop cars and lights everywhere. Oh, they busted it, so I just turned around and made one last jump and went home.
You did the same thing.
I'm out of here.
He used to do this deal. You remember the railroad tracks on 156?
Yep.
There was a railroad tracks, and it had a great jump, and he never made us used to buckle up.
Nah.
So back in the day,
he would take. You never
had
safer
if you rolled around.
You hang onto the seat, whatever.
Yeah. And so he would hit this in his company Ford Taurus, and he would hit it to a point where I'll never forget the feeling. It just that you would hear almost the wheels hit the wheel wells go, and you would just go fucking airborne. And he would hit it.
It was a company car.
He would hit it a couple of times.
Yeah.
But anytime I hit kind of like a road that's like whoop, I always remember you just sticking us in the car and jumping the car.
It's like you with the golf cart at Hackfest.
Oh, you were on that.
Oh, yeah,
like father, like son.
Yeah. No, that was fun. And then there was one time, my drink back in the day, I quit drinking in 1980, I think it was 84. I was 23 years old, but I drank all through high school and all that other stuff. But my buddies turned me on. We were playing golf, and they turned me on to gin and tonics. Well, the cart that I was in, we drank a gallon of gin and tonics, and it was all gone. So I was like,
people?
2.
Oh my God!
In fact, we just sat on this park bench and just tell people, just go ahead and play, man. I'm too drunk to play. So I thought it'd be a really good idea. He still had a whole bottle of Tanqueray, and I thought, well, we need tonic. So I left the golf course, and I was driving on the streets, and then I went to a 7-Eleven, and I pulled up, and I took my golf glove off, and I went in and bought some tonic. And the guy's in the golf cart's smoking because it's not supposed to go that far.
Oh my God.
So I got in there, and the guy's looking at me. He's like, "Are you okay to drive?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm in a golf cart. I mean, how hurt can I get?" So I got back in, put my golf glove back on, and drove back. I just bought some tonic. We're good. And then we sat there and drank another, I don't know how much more, and we just let people play through, and then it was a disaster.
Oh my God! Yeah. So much gin.
That's why I love this show, because we don't hear these stories. I've never heard that story before.
Yeah.
And somebody said this at the show last week, is we were talking about Saturday at the shop, and we're now, thanks to all of you, we're getting to the point where we're about 100,000 views a month on our shows.
Get out of town.
And it's really cool.
Wow.
But it was actually that Ferio Tego guy, is I said, I don't really give a shit if anybody watches, because we get to have a cigar and share this moment. And he said, that's the beauty of the show. We have nothing to lose. We're just smoking cigars.
That's what Tuesdays are.
That's Tuesdays.
Just like a window into just what happens when people sit around and have cigars and have conversations. That's something Preston and I love, is what's called the cigar culture.
Yep.
To be able to go in a lounge and have culture. You're not walking in a lounge and feeling like you're an alien. You don't belong. That's the worst thing ever. You go in a lounge, you walk in, and you're not one of the regulars, and they're like, oh, yeah, we don't know you. And, they don't talk to you. That's the worst thing. It's the same thing. I talked to somebody the other day about it. It's the same thing like wine. Wine is the only alcohol, in my mind, that is dependent on the environment of it. If you have a wine and you're in a happy place, you're having a good time, the wine's good.
Yes.
If you're just got dumped and you're sad, the wine's shit, but I'm trying to get drunk anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's different. Same things with cigars. It depends on the environment you're at. Me and Preston definitely have the situation where we've been in cigar shops before. You go in, we feel like outsiders. Okay, we're here anyways. We'll get a stick, we'll sit down, and you're puffing it. Right? You're trying to finish
just trying to get
cigar.
done.
Yeah, you're trying to finish the cigar as fast as you can and leave. And you're not enjoying it, because the whole part of enjoying a cigar is a conversation, the camaraderie, the telling the funny stories, laughing your ass off, whatever, maybe some business connections, meet up later. I mean, when we first started coming to Dallas, we didn't know anybody. Now Preston was saying the other day, it's just crazy. We land in Dallas and we've got friends waiting for us.
Yeah. Right.
We've got people waiting for us to hang out with us.
Yeah.
Right.
And we don't even live here. We got somebody tonight, Biz. Biz was like, hey, good to see you. What have y'all been up to? I was like, well, we just flew in. He's like, from where? Where were you vacationing? I was like, Biz, we don't live here. We live outside of Nashville. He's like, oh shit, okay, that's why I don't see you that often. Okay, you didn't even know.
But I completely agree with you, and that's why I really do enjoy wine, because it is punctuation to your day or your meal or your situation, just like cigars. And I think that's something I would like to see more of, is wine and cigars, because it can most certainly match what you want out of your experience. Do you want something to pair with your meal? Do you want something, for me, what I enjoy at the house, have a glass of wine with my wife, and we sit, we watch some TV, we hang, just nice and relaxed.
You don't have to sit there.
Unplug, absolutely.
You don't have to sit there and talk to your wife about, what are you smelling? What are you tasting?
No.
It's not that. It's just drink it and enjoy it. Same thing with cigar. I have never sat at a cigar shop and talked with somebody else about what are you tasting in your cigar. You're not. What you do is you say, hey, what are you smoking? They say it. Is it good or not?
Yeah.
What's the body on it? That's pretty much the basic question.
That's about as deep as you can get.
Yeah.
Ron Hancock sitting out front is coming in. I'm not sure where I heard it, but you can have a better cigar, but not in a better place. Something like that.
No,
there's an experience that's probably, if I'm on my deathbed, and I didn't know it at the moment. I didn't have any idea it was going to be as impactful to the rest of our life. But on my deathbed, I'll remember this moment in time that is just implanted into my memory. And on our tall bags, I may have had a better cigar, but I've never had a cigar in a better place. Have you heard the story behind that? What's your take of that?
So we did we were in Cabo, and Brandon was running a leadership academy down there. I went down there to watch him, and he would do this deal where they would climb this, I guess it was a hill or a mini mountain or whatever. To me, it was a mountain. But you climbed this thing, and they would do it at sunrise. And you get up to the top, and you'd watch the whales going, full breach. Also, it was just incredible. Well, we get to the top, and Brandon goes, "All right, all you guys leave." So it was just me and Brandon up there.
And this is 40 college age kids. And I'm like, all right, interns, you guys got it. Drive them back.
Yep.
We got this.
Yeah. So we sat up there. I had a Cuban. It wasn't anything fancy. And I was sitting on the rocks, and I'm watching the sun come up over the Sea of Cortez, and these whales are full breach. And I'm just sitting there with Brandon, and I said out loud, "I've had a better cigar, but I've never had a cigar in a better place." Mm-hmm. And that became what ultimately is what we wanted to build here, was build a place that was, you may have had a better cigar, but have you had one in a better place? And that was
Would you say that in that moment of having that stick tasted better than maybe you had a stick somewhere else? It's because of the environment.
A lot of it is environment. Like last night, I told Begley when I got home, I was like, I came up here, there was 4 or 5 of my buddies were sitting around. We had the music cranked up, and we were just chilling on what night is it? Monday night. And when I got home, she was like, "So how was the shop?" I said, she goes, "Was it busy?" I said, "I don't know, but it was what it was supposed to be." Because we sat there, smoked cigars, and just had great conversation. And when I left, I was like, "That's what ICC is supposed to be."
And so often we get that reminder. You sit in the back on a Tuesday night, and when I stepped up there are people who are connected with each other.
Sure.
And
in a conversation.
Exactly.
Deep in it.
They're not sitting on their phone. There's a lot of different conversations. There's 6, 7, 8 conversations.
That's a huge thing. How many times have you gone to cigar shops when the culture's right? Anywhere else, you see families out at restaurants or on their phones.
Oh yeah.
You go to a cigar shop, you put the phone down. And also something I've seen more of a trend is, you don't use Google. Right? You're sitting around and you go, "Hey, you remember that movie?
Oh yeah."
And you don't
yes, and you don't hit the phone. Everybody's going, yeah, it was this and that. Hey, no, you remember this? And then you don't reach for the phone. You do what you used to do, and you just think about it. Think about it, and you talk about it.
It was the guy. He was also in this movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. Blah blah blah.
We were doing that, and one of the things that'll just pop up is we'll all be sitting around and we've kind of run through a conversation, and then it's top 3 running backs in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, guys start throwing out names like, I forgot about Eric Dickerson. I forgot.
Bo Jackson.
And it's just you start this, and then it's quarterbacks, and then it's linebacker, and it just, this whole conversation starts. And the same thing happens with movies. The same things that happen with music. Mm-hmm. Somebody will throw out Michael Jackson or Prince.
Oh yeah.
And then all hell breaks loose because
Here's my favorite thing, because of where I'm at in my life, is I'm at a position where I basically need to fire some friends. My friends who are not getting their shit together.
I've hit that.
And
the 30s hit me for that.
And there's
weed out who's the real friends, who's the ones that really bring something to the table.
Exactly.
That excel, that lift me up. Who are the dead weights?
And when I'm at that point with cigars is, even I have one of my dearest friends in the world here that I think he can be doing better. But it's all kind of, "Hey, how you doing? And then we came back here on Saturday. We fired up the cigar. I was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" "Well, we had this." I was like, "Looks like you're partying a lot." Mm-hmm. "Yeah, I mean, no, looks like you're partying a lot." And it's this element to break down the walls and just go, "All right, let's have a real goddamn conversation for a second."
Preston says all the time, if he's the most successful person in the room, he's in the wrong room.
Wrong room.
Says that all the time.
Yeah,
if I'm the most successful person, I need to get the fuck out.
Yeah, our family doesn't do lazy well. Mm-hmm. So when
I've noticed that.
It's just, and we're not going to walk up somebody and say, "You're a lazy son of a bitch." We're going to walk up and go, "Let's talk about getting better. Let's talk about what you need to do. Nothing's going to come to you. You got to go get it." Just to try to inspire and get people to get off the dime. Whatever is holding them down, you got to kick them off that goddamn chair and get them out there and going. And
we do it to ourselves.
But you can't lead a horse to water.
Well, you can lead them there. You can't force them to drink, right?
Yeah.
And truly, at the end, it's...
Watch that, because I'm drinking.
Well, cheers to you.
Yeah.
shockingly almost finished the bottle.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll finish it.
Yeah.
You can lead a horse to water. You can't teach him how to fish. But
That is a fact. That is understood.
God, now I got an image of a horse trying to fish.
But at the end, it's something that we call bullshit on each other all the time.
You got to. That's a real friend. That's a real friend if you call bullshit on him.
And truly,
Show's over.
That's what the family does.
That's a real friend if you go, hey, get your shit together.
Get your shit together. Let's go. Figure
Another-
it out.
Talking about cigar lounge, another thing here that most people don't think about, and we've definitely come across this, is when you have a sports game on or something happening, goes overtime, right, whatever. We've been in so many cigar shops. We go, hey, we close at this time, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Close up, get out. Me and Preston have been here before where a game did that, and it wasn't a full house. There was like 5 of us still in here watching the game. And one of your guys came out and said, and we were like, oh, do we have to leave? He goes, no. Game's not over.
Yeah.
Sit, enjoy. We're not going to cut you off the end of the game.
And
if
that's-
you let
that's-
us stay there and watch the end of the game, that is not normal.
We talk about how
It should be, but it's not.
Interesting.
we talk about how for 6 years we planned the business and we traveled around the country and went into lounges. And I've been in those lounges that the guy will walk up at 9:01 and turn the TV on.
Absolutely.
It's like,
Absolutely.
the score's tied.
Well, as a customer, you feel like so unappreciated. You know, hey, especially if you're a regular somewhere, even not a regular. Oh, I'm not going to fucking ever come back here because it did that to me for your first time. And if you're regular, you're thinking, wow, you really kicked me in the ass there. I mean, how much money do I spend in this place and
Right.
time? And you can't spare 5-10 more minutes? Like, really?
Now, admittedly, I have done this one time, and I'll run you through this situation. It was the MLB All-Star game. I didn't know it was happening, but we closed at 10, and it was about 11:10, and it was the 7th inning, and one of the teams was up 11, and the other one had like 2, and
11-2?
yeah, it was like 11,
Okay.
and so it wasn't close. So I shut it off. And what I realized is we had established a culture where, hey, we'll see the game out, because an hour and 15 minutes after we were closed, I shut off a game that was obviously not closed. And there were particularly one individual that just stormed out, I'll never be back.
Really?
Yeah, I'll never be back. And I went, well, first off, I didn't know that this was actually a thing because,
Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah.
But at the end, I appreciate you saying that, because especially it's something that we coach up with the team. Is just, if this is important, if this is something that's important to people who are here, that's why they're here, see it through.
Yeah,
It's
no
all about
freaks were here
hospitality.
that night. It was just somebody else working, and they were like,
I shut it off.
and
I shut it off.
But
well,
you're
my
right, though.
situation was just somebody that was here.
Oh, you're saying that night?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
For
night
you.
was just
Oh.
somebody working here, and they were like, "No, it's cool, guys.
That's
like,
awesome.
watch the rest of the game. I mean, come on, it's not even over." And we were like, "Oh wow, okay, we can relax." Because we were like, "Oh gosh, they're closing, and it's 5 past, 10 past. Oh, they're gonna kick us out any minute." And it was that stress factor. We're gonna get kicked out at any minute. And he walked in and was like, "No, you're good. Like, wait
That's
till the
cool.
end."
That's
and we were
great
like,
to hear.
Oh, okay, cool. And it was great also because it wasn't a full house. It wasn't a full house. We'd like damn near finish our cigar. It wasn't like a revenue situation. It wasn't like, okay, you guys aren't spending any more cigar. We weren't spending more. It's the end of the night.
Right.
But it was like, no, I'm not going to do that to you.
That's
Finish it off.
hospitality.
Yeah,
Truly.
our hours on Sunday are to close at 9, but when we went into football season, knowing there's a 7:30 game, we closed when the game's over. So that was, and if we went into overtime, we went into overtime.
Yeah.
And that's
The ones that are tough though is like these UFC fights. We'll buy a UFC fight. There was a UFC fight that went
so late.
The main event went off at 12:15.
Oh, I know. We do them at our house. They're very late.
Yeah,
by the time
I think
we
they got home at like 1:45, and
It's
it
very late
That's a
UFC
tough
fights
one.
for sure.
But we also read the room.
That's
Read the room.
that's a situation of a shop appreciating their customers and seeing that. That's when you get that, when they go, we appreciate you coming in and also choosing our place to watch it, right?
Yeah,
they could watch at home. Everybody's got TVs.
Sure.
They could watch at home, but instead you decide to come here. You decide to spend your time here, spend your money here. We're gonna appreciate that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's something that we continue to, I think, keep in the forefront of our focus, because we are looking at expansion, we're looking at growing, but keeping that heart of make sure that we realize everyone inside of these 4 walls are keeping the lights on. they're keeping our kids fed.
Yeah, town. Our guy Pat that came in tonight, he kept saying over and over again, beginning of the night, he was like, "Dude, the customer service in here is unreal. Oh my gosh, they are so nice in here. They're so unreal." And we were talking, and we tell people about this all the time. We go, "No, you don't understand this place." We say ICC, and we were at another cigar shop. Not gonna call them out. We were at another cigar shop the other day. Great cigar culture, by the way, but it was another one. And we were just telling them, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna be at ICC tomorrow." They go, "What is ICC?" I said, "Industrial Cigar Company. It's out in Frisco, Texas." And I said, it's run by a family, the Frakes. I said, and I'll tell you what, it's a dad and 3 sons. I was saying, you would think the 3 sons would be assholes. They would be like, "I'm privileged, my dad owns his shop, I can do whatever I want, whatever." I was like, it is not that case at all. They all, including the dad, everybody works hard. You can tell that they appreciate the business that they have. And it's not like they ever feel above anything.
No.
They will empty your ashtray.
Oh, I'll clean
they
toilets.
will get you something to drink. They will answer your questions. They're never like, "That's beneath me." I'm like, you don't understand the situation. And that's a lot of businesses. When you see the owners of them really taking stock in their business and they want it to work and they all band together, that makes us, as a customer, want to invest more in that business because we want to support the people that are, own it.
And I truly appreciate you saying that, because ultimately at the end, we're all owners, we're all partners, right? And Pops owns some, I own some.
They can all vote me out. They all have
we're all
more
owners,
ownership collectively.
but at the end, it doesn't matter, because it comes down to what kind of ownership does everyone who wears the ICC badge have. Like, look at what's happening. We have Nicole, we have Travis. These guys aren't owners. Travis is running around the corner to make sure that phone is answered in 2 rings. Here he is. He's got it all taken care of, right? They're taking out trash. They're ahead of time. Not what we do, but what does our team do collectively? And when our team is not leaving until the coffee is put out, when the coffee is put out, that means a person in the morning shows up, the lounge is clean, they hit start.
Oh, wow.
And that's that. That is the element that it's easy
respect for the rest of the team, too.
It's easy for the owners to be driven and want this to win.
That your employees show what the owners do, because the fact that you do, and I know this for a fact, you treat everybody like family here. Not just the customers coming and paying, but your employees too. You treat them like family.
Yep.
And that is a lot from an employee perspective, to feel valued, to feel heard, to feel appreciated. And that's why they work so hard. They're not just like somebody coming in, clocking in and out,
Yep.
They're appreciated.
Well,
and a lot of these people also, it's a passion of theirs.
Yep.
I don't know the guy's name, but there's a pipe guy here.
Yeah, Ted.
Yeah, and
Yep.
that's something that's a passion. It's like, make some bomb ass pipes.
Yeah.
But you have that, and that's really a reflection of the people who run it.
It's something that really, just like the cigars we select, of all these, just for those who are watching, all of these cigars have been smoked. None of them will make it. Just the same thing with the people who will wear, because when you look at everyone's name tag, it says ICC family.
Oh, it does.
Family member.
It says family member. So it doesn't matter. If you're going to be family, we go through as many people as as far as the vetting process, as we do cigars. And at the end,
they're a
you have to be
reflection
in
of
on
you.
it. Yep.
They're a reflection of your family.
Yep. If
And
you're
what you built.
if you're wearing the hexagon, that might as well say Frakes on their last name. And that's the way that we intend to treat people.
Yep.
So, no.
I think we should end it on that.
I think
think
that's
so.
a good end.
That is positive. You guys still have a little bit to drink.
Off
But-
camera.
Thank you for being here.
Hey, no
It's
problem.
so cool.
Yes.
Oh, it's so cool. No.
Everybody's asking where Spencer is. Or Preston. I said Spencer. Preston.
Preston, he's out in the lounge, probably starving to death.
He would probably answer to Spencer if I called him that.
We're going to go
Sure.
test that.
Yeah, let's
But,
do it.
Maggie, thank you for being here. Truly.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who joined us. This is what living the dream looks like.
This is
Yeah.
what Cigar Talk is.
Yep.
Just hanging out, having a conversation.
That's it.
That's it. Be
So
good.
with that, watch Thursday night. Size matters. This week's show is going to be fantastic if we don't get snowed in. And then, of course, Saturday at the shop.
I mean, your wife does a killer job.
She does a great job.
Yep. Love, peace, and chicken grease.
That's it.
Bam. Good
Lots,
show.
Lots,
Really
lots,
good
lots,
show.
lots,
Really
lots,
good
lots
show.
of comments.
you got to hear another dad story you've never heard before.
Oh, every week is a new
week.
dad story.
He is just a knowledge.
Yeah,
Great
I'm not 100% sure what I should be telling them. They got me on a plateau, and I'm gonna just keep knocking myself down.
But it's
How's your wine pair with your stick?
fantastic. Really
It did
enjoyed
great
it.
with mine.
This is very big, very, for me, it's fuller body. It definitely, I see that fruit forward.
It is. Beaujolais is a very fruit forward. Look at all the sediment when you hold up to the light.
But it's not,
Oh yeah.
I don't know, it's not off-putting. You know, it's,
That shop is all about biodynamic, organic. I didn't say this on camera, but I give 2 shits about that stuff.
yeah.
Also, the fact that they have a stamp on them for all their tags is good for shoppers because you go in and there's a key. So it says organic, biodynamic, lady made, and something else. And then as you go through the wines, there's a wine tag and they stamp it if it's any of those. So you can show the key on it. Me personally, I don't care about any of those. Wine's wine. If it's good, it's good.
Right.
But for somebody who doesn't know about wines, it's an easy key to have, you know?
I could most certainly get comfortable drinking this. It's really
It's not
nice.
a super high alcohol either, so you're not you can just keep, it's easy sipper.
Exactly. And it's, I think, just ultimately, it's very smooth, no tannins. It's just,
I
for
will
me.
say, I've never thought of pairing a Beaujolais with cigars, but today when I left the condo, I was like, you know what? I'll grab this. I think this Beaujolais will go okay. You know, it's jammy. It has enough body. It'll stand up with a cigar. Not like a Maduro or something super heavy, but something in the middle range.
But
It'll be
even with
fine.
the nice, smooth, rich Maduro, I think it would stand up pretty nice. But for this is a full body, but overall nicotine is relatively light. The punch is light, but it's just got good flavor. I like the way this works because it's got a lot of texture to it all the way through, but very little bite, which I like, especially coming off of this.
It's soft but not wimpy.
This is a perfect cigar for the situation, most certainly.
Thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for being on.
It was a good conversation.
It's always fun.
It was good. You got to make me have goosebumps.
It's wild.
I haven't thought about that in a while. When you asked me that question, I was like, oh, yeah, I got a story. Totally. I normally would never pick the cigar because it's not my gauge. It was quite large. But kind of what we were saying as the conversation went, it smokes so easy.
Uh-huh.
Look how